come here. Come in here real close. You like Greg Doucette? Nah, I don't know either. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, so we're going to watch this Greg Doucette video. He loves farming Dr. Mike. And you know what? I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Mike. And sometimes Greg can be hit or miss as well. And so Greg's farming Mike. I'm farming Greg. Here we go. This is how the world turns. We're going to do another challenge. How long can I go without going on a rant? Okay. This video caught my eye because the title is Bulking and Cutting is Not the Answer. And I disagree with that statement, but Greg usually always has these like clickbaity titles where he'll title the video like the opposite of what he really thinks. So we're going to watch the video. Okay. We're going to watch the video and we're going to attempt to make it through an entire Greg Doucette video. We're going to see how it goes. Okay. So let's go.
3 of that is pure muscle.
Dr. Mike. So here's the thing about Dr. Mike. Okay. Get out of here. Right, I know Dr. Mike's been doing this a minute, right? And I don't know his stats. I'm sure he's bigger than me. And I'm very old school in the sense of shouldn't listen to somebody who's smaller than you, right? If somebody comes over to you and is like, actually, I read a study and you're doing your tricep pushdowns wrong, and they're smaller than you, it's like, shut up, get out of here. You know, I don't want to hear it. So I don't know. I don't know his stats. You know, he's a competitor. He's been doing it longer than me. But just the whole, sorry, Mike, just the whole like pretentiousness of it. Yeah, I'm a doctor, therefore I'm right. The whole science-based lifting thing is so annoying to me. It's just, it's so annoying. It's tiresome. Okay, just calling yourself science-based, just saying, yeah, actually, I'm a science-based lifter. Cool. So what? Like, you're small. I'm gonna rant. It's gotten out of control lately. Okay, it's like, what's the deal with all the straps? Okay, why do they have so many wrist straps on everything and like the Velcro straps? Why you want to put Velcro straps in everything? I swear, like we used to watch videos, like gym fail videos when gym fail videos were first invented. There used to be gym fail videos of like people with like, you know, all these different cables like attached to their body, and they're like doing all this stupid stuff in the cable machine. And now you just scroll on Instagram and you see dudes, small dudes, unironically, they got like all these Velcro cuffs on like their here and they're like doing like some twisting thing. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're not eating, clearly. I can look at you. You look like you weigh 130 pounds. What are you doing? And then you're just like, these guys will unironically go on a Jay Cutler video and be like, actually, if Jay had a more science-based approach, he would have been a lot bigger. Ronnie Coleman would have been bigger if he did science lifts. Shut up. Shut up. It's so annoying. I think the whole like science-based lift, everything, we got to do it. We can't go to failure on this set. We can, you know, you can only do 1 set to failure per week, and every other set has to be 2 reps in reserve at a RP of 7.69. It's like the whole science-based lifting thing is just an excuse to not train hard. And I know there's some big dudes. There are a couple big dudes who say that they're science-based. I feel like they're getting paid by everyone else to like keep up the shtick. Because it's mostly small dorks on Instagram. Okay? You know what's science-based? Eating 4,000 calories a day. That's some fucking science. Okay? Going to the gym and doing as many sets to failure as you can, and you want to die. And then you go home and just eat everything, and you get a full night's sleep. You know, and you do that for like, you know, well, you do it every day. You get all your food in, get your good sleep in. That's some science, okay? That's sciencey. It's the pretentiousness. It's the appeal to authority. The appeal to authority fallacy. Well, in this study of untrained pencil neck weenies, they showed a 2% gain over blah, blah, blah. Stop. Okay? Stop. Okay, we're going back to the video now. Okay? Look, we're 6 minutes into this video. How long did I make it into the Greg Doucette video? 1 second. 1 second, that's how long I can go without being annoyed by science-based lifters. What's this slide say? Okay. Gaining weight too slowly to even monitor. Okay, if you're gaining weight too slow to monitor, you're not bulking. I don't even know what Mike's trying to say in this video. Okay, we're 1 second in. Men used to go to war, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? Men used to go to war. And there was an age when you just went to the gym and you just tried really hard. And that's all you need. You need to go to the gym. You need to try hard. You need to be pushing your sets with a high level of intensity. Okay? And you need to eat. You can't maintenance calorie, low protein intake yourself into being huge and jacked. It's just not going to happen. You can't do it. Okay, so men used to go to war, and now they sit on the leg extension machine and they kick their feet and scroll on Instagram. This is the world we live in.
3 of that is pure fat. You can lose 3 pounds of pure fat.
Jeff Nippert, in his 1-year video, they tried this. And they went on their bulks, they put on a bunch of muscle, and when they went on their cut, they lost muscle. I'm just saying what they said in their video.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty normal, though. That's what basically everybody.
You might be able to gain something like a pound of muscle every.
When you go on your cut, you are going to lose weight. You're probably, I mean, yes, it's like, but when you lose muscle, okay, it's like your muscles are physically going to get a little smaller. Yeah. But like they're not like going to disappear. You know, you're going to slowly cut off the fat. It's going to start up top. You're going to feel deflated. And then it's going to, you know, your arms are going to go first. Everything's just going to get smaller and just got to keep pushing at it. Week after week, cutting down. Look, here's my credentials, okay? This is my credentials, right? We are at 197 today. 69 inches. Nice. 197 walking around. I need to get back up to 215 ASAP. Okay. The first 3 weeks of being back on bulk are sweet, right? Because you really haven't put on any fat yet. And you went through your whole cut, right? And you finally got like lean. And when I got to my peak leanness, I was at 185. And that was at the point where I was like, all right, I'm way too skinny, way too small. I feel like a fucking twig, like it was going to blow away in the wind. And I was like, look, I've had enough of this. So it's time to go back up. So that first like 3 weeks, and that's about how far I'm in right now. It's basically not enough time to really like put on fat. Your body's just kind of grabbing onto everything, and all your muscles are refilling with the carbs, and the pumps are good. Man, it's great. It feels good. Dude, I want to drink some pre-workout right now. I'm perspiring thinking about it. Okay. But yeah, those first 3 weeks being back on bulk are fantastic because you still basically keep all of that work that you put in on the cut, and you're just like, the initial blow up of size. So what? You're going to lose a little bit on your cut. So what? Get over it. You'll be fine. Do another bulk and then do another cut. Or you can just main gain. Just main gain into the sunset. Name a pro who just main gains before a show. Nobody. Let's go. Okay, we're back to
2
the video.
months,
Come on.
which is like for advanced people, quite good. So if you break that down, you're like, okay, I want to gain purely muscle. How do I do that? Well, I need to gain about 1/8 of a pound per week.
And so what he's describing here in gaining 1/8 of a pound of muscle per
I think he's just speaking in hyperbole, but I'm gonna give you my opinion before I'm gonna jump to conclusions and then give you my opinion on it from my experience. So, I think there's a bit of a scare factor where people don't want to bulk because they don't want to get fat. And to be honest, that was me for a little bit. That was me for a while. When you don't know what's going to happen when you bulk, right? It's like an unknown. Like if you've just been skinny forever and you've never ventured off into Antarctica. Antarctica is the bulk, by the way, okay? So if you've never gotten off the ship and started venturing into the bulk of Antarctica, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's kind of scary, right? And if you're kind of like a lean guy like I was, I have no desire to be fat. Didn't want to be fat. So, what's going to happen? I don't know. And then just got to a certain point where I was like, if I get fat, I get fat. It'll be fine. You can always lose the weight. If you're naturally a skinny guy, don't worry about getting fat. Because if you're naturally skinny, guess what you can do? You can get skinny again. It's pretty easy. Right? If I can do it at 35, 34, 33, you can do it at whatever, 25 to 45. So says my YouTube statistics. Okay. But what Mike's talking about is, only trying to gain purely muscle. And the thing is, I don't think that's a very good strategy because you would have to micromanage your calorie surplus to such a small degree that it would basically be impossible. There's just, you maybe with some sort of advanced calorie tracking in your Apple Watch, you can really track your expenditure for that particular day and make sure you're only getting whatever 100 calories plus that exact day. It's just too close. What if it's not, what if it's not enough? In my opinion, you just go ham, okay? Go a little bit over or a lot of bit over. A lot of people are going to say don't dirty bulk. I've heard that so many times. I heard that, when I started. When I started dirty bulking, there was this guy I joined this gym, a guy named Jamie, and he's a bodybuilding competitor, and he told me not to dirty bulk. And I was 4 months in, and I had just cracked 200, and I was like, I don't know, man. This is the first time I've been 200 pounds my whole life. It's kind of like a dream come true. I've always wanted to be, two buckaroos, right? 2 hundo. That was a big milestone for me. He's like, look, don't dirty bulk, whatever. And I just kept doing it. I was like, look, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to do me. And I just powered into it for another 8 months. 7-8 months after he said that. And it's I feel like the recovery benefits, there's pros and cons to both. And if you've never bulked before, ever, then maybe dirty bulking isn't right. So maybe this next time, I don't know how crazy I'm going to get with it. But if you've never bulked before, I think there's so much to be gained on that first trip into Antarctica, into bulk land. Like there's so much area to be explored. You can just ego lift and pound the calories, and you just go absolutely ham, right? And go crazy with the volume and train really hard. And like I felt like I could recover from literally anything. Like I could recover from anything. It was wild. Whatever I threw at myself. And I don't think you can really do that when you're being much more precise. Like it's just too much damage, too much fatigue, maybe. I don't know. And that's if you think overtraining is real or not. So, yeah, that first trip into Antarctica, bulkland, I think you can go ham and you can get away with a lot more and then just lose the fat, right? And then that second time you're going into a bulk, or a lot of these competitors, they're going into their bulk their third, fourth, fifth, 10th time. Maybe it doesn't make sense to go absolutely crazy. But I don't know. Then you have others like Lee Priest. I'm a big fan of Lee Priest from a bodybuilding perspective anyways. Is what it is. Everybody does things, right? He used to get really fat on his off seasons. So even in between shows, he would go on off season. He'd basically eat anything and everything, and he got massive. And because his philosophy was the same thing, when off season comes or when it's go time again, when it's time to get shredded again, it's easy. You just cut down. Doing both, I feel like, to me, in my opinion, I think bulking and physically adding mass to your body is so much harder than cutting. And I feel like if you're in that bulking state, if you're in that bulking state, why would you take the chance at just going barely above your maintenance calories to possibly you might get in a situation when you're possibly not eating enough, and now you're not bulking, right? Because you think you're good enough, but maybe your expenditure has been a little bit more, and now you're not adding mass anymore, right? So like you're in your bulking state, but you're not really doing it because your margins are too slim. Or you could go well over your margins and know for 100%, this last 10 weeks, this last 6 months, I know for sure I was adding mass, right? And then you just dial the calories back and trim off the fat, another 6-8 weeks. So that's what I think. Okay, we're 38 seconds into the video, 18 minutes into okay. Let's try to.
This is what main gain. Unless, of course, you're adding in supplements. For example, you're adding in creatine or Turk Builder Max. These supplements can make you build more muscle. Perhaps you have more water in your muscles. So lots of changes.
No, I gotta stop.
Can occur, and also, depending on your diet, you could be dehydrated like Eddie Hall, or you could be very much overhydrated and gain weight and you're bloated. And so, tracking that accurately, saying it has.
Being overhydrated and bloated from water, I don't know if that's necessarily a big deal, unless you're about to get on a stage. I drink almost 2 gallons of water a day, like maybe 1.5 gallons, with electrolytes and everything. Don't worry, I'm not about to pass out and die.
It has to be a 1/4 pound a week. It's too hard to track. You can't do it. And so when you
so that's what he's talking about. I'm pretty sure it's been quite a few minutes, but I'm pretty sure he just agreed with me, which is that it's too hard to track. It's too hard to track being just barely over your maintenance to just like micro bulk.
Gain, you don't track. You can't do it. And so when you main gain, you don't track. You look in the mirror and you just go at it. Are you fat? No, I like the way I look. So, for example, myself, I like the way I look.
Okay. I want to touch on main gaining for a second, okay? So, yeah, Greg looks good. Thing is, he's talking about, it's all about context, right? So when Greg is talking about main gaining, he's talking about main gaining from a background of, he's done like 40 something bodybuilding shows, right? So he's done essentially possibly, 40 preps of body shows. He's done bulking phases. He's done dieting phases. Like, he's been tracking his food and everything for 30 years, right? So he has like 30-year background of nutritional experience, right? And then, so contrast that with your average guy in the gym who's been lifting for like 5 years, not a professional bodybuilder, is just somebody who goes to the gym and they're like, yeah, main gain, brother, just main gaining. Just think about like the context and the background of the nutrition, right? You have like Greg, you have a professional bodybuilder main gaining, which he probably says main gaining, but he could probably cut or bulk much more accurately than a random person without even like really tracking or writing anything down. Is that anyways, then you have the gym bro, right? Your average gym guy. And this was me for years. I'm guilty of this. Boys, I was there, okay? I tried to main gain myself into being big. You can't. You can't do it. You can't main gain. If you're walking around at a $170, you can't main gain to 200. It's not. You can't do it. You got to force feed yourself. You got to eat. You got to intentionally, you got to force it. Seriously. Like, you have to force your body. You got to put your body into submission. Okay? What's the Tom Platz quote? Don't be a victim to your genetics. Make your genetics a victim to you, right? So I think Greg is pro main gaining. I'm not pro main gaining. I'm anti main gaining because of the context. His main gaining is different than our main gaining. That's why.
Some days I look leaner, some days I look fatter. If I get up and I'm bloated, I'm maybe hairing a lot of water, that day I'm thinking, probably be a good day to do a little bit more cardio. Maybe I won't go crazy on the nuts. I'll just eat fewer calories. It balances out. And if you've been watching my channel for probably the last 4 years, notice what I've been doing. Main gain.
The whole time. I'm 49. I'm doing shit tons of cardio, probably more than any other YouTuber that you're...
Again, he's main gaining, but he's 49, right? So he's had 30 years of diet and nutrition experience, right? It's not the same. It is not the same as your average gym bro saying, yeah, dude, I'm just going to main gain this summer, dog. It's not the same.
You're watching.
And how's it working for me? And remember, I'm not abusing steroids. I'm on 140 milligrams of test a week. Testosterone between 550 and 750 nanograms per deciliter. And so you just live your life. It's much more beneficial. You don't develop body dysmorphia. You're always happy with your physiques. You go to...
Who doesn't have body dysmorphia? Serious question. Is there anybody in the gym who does not have body dysmorphia? Like, am I crazy for thinking that? Like, that's the whole reason that I went to the gym. Like, I have felt like I have been too small for almost my entire life. Right? The only time in my life that I did not feel like I was too small was the 2 weeks right before I stopped bulking, when I was 235 pounds, getting up to 237 was the highest number I saw on the scale, right? And I'm laying in bed just like dying, hard, having trouble breathing, heart rate and blood pressure through the roof. like, that's the whole reason I went to the gym. Dude, I specifically remember I must have been 14 or 15. I was in science class, right? Science. Not learning about lifting, right? I remember looking down, did something with my arm. Somebody did something. I looked at my arm. I looked down, and it was like, I don't even know. It was like like my arm was a pencil, and it was disgusting. I was disgusted with myself. I hated it. And I pretty much thought I was too skinny ever since then, right? So it's like a never-ending journey of wanting to not feel like a skinny little pencil.
To the gym and you train hard and you just have fun with it.
But if you lose half a pound total over the course of a month, what does that look like on a weight graph? It looks like this. It looks the same.
True. I don't even know what he's talking about at this point. But yeah, your weight's going to fluctuate a lot, and it's fine.
And so you could have
Day to
2
day.
months, legit 2 months, where you're bulking, but you actually lost tissue.
What the fuck? So what Mike's...
I do not know what he's talking about. How could you bulk for 2 months but not gain tissue? He must be talking about some sort of micro bulk where you don't actually bulk. If somebody says the word bulk, if you tell me you're bulking, that means you're tracking your calories. Or it means two things. You're either tracking your calories or you're eating in such a disgusting, gross surplus that there's no way you're eating less than 3,500 calories a day. And the thing is, if you haven't done it, if you haven't counted your calories every day 4 months, I don't trust you if you say you're eating 4,000 calories a day. Because I've had dudes at the gym come up to me and tell me, yep, like 110-pound guys, yeah, trying to gain weight, Frank, but, I'm eating like 4,000 calories a day. No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't lie. You may have eaten 4,000 calories 3 days ago, and then, maybe 1,100 a day since then. But don't come in here with that. If you eat 4,000 calories a day for 4 months, you will get bigger. That's science. Science.
describing here, if it was actually true, it would suck. It would be horrible. But what actually can happen, let's say you're in a 50-calorie deficit one day. Your body can use fat stores to help you build muscle. So, okay, let me just make it simple for you. You can build muscle when you're in a deficit, you can build muscle when you're eating at maintenance, and you can build muscle when you're in a bulk or in a surplus. All three incidents can result in you building more muscle. One day, you're going to have more of a surplus, the next day, more of a deficit. That's fine. On Monday, you had more calories than Tuesday. Monday, you perhaps built more muscle than Tuesday. It all works out. And if you want to really break it down, you're thinking calories in, calories out. That goes by each day.
Just something to keep in mind. I feel like when I was on my bulk, I felt like to really get the full benefit of the surplus, you had to really be in the surplus for like 5 days in a row. And then once you were, then you really start to feel all the full benefits. And I felt like if you missed a day, you know, like you just weren't able to eat that day, let's say you maybe were only able to eat 2,500 or hell, even 3,000, right? Even at 3,000, that's still potentially more than your daily expenditure, but it's not that 4,000 that you've been getting every day. And so I feel like it notches back the progress by 2 days. This is just my experience from what I felt like. If I missed one day, I felt like I went back in progress 2 days. So it's very, very important when you're bulking and dieting in general. I feel more so for bulking than cutting. You have to be consistent with it. You cannot be a 5-day-a-week dieter, right? And again, I'm telling you this because this was me for years. I know for a fact a lot of people are doing this. And it better not be you, okay? It's not you. You're doing your cardio, right? You're dieting You're being consistent 7 days a week, but just you need to talk to your friends, right? Because there are dudes out there who are eating, maybe they're eating in a surplus Monday through Friday, taking the weekends off, right? Drinking, not eating enough, staying up too late. You've seen it a million times, right? You got to get your sleep. You got to get your water. You got to get your calories. And if you are bulking, this is just from my experience, from what I've seen, if you're bulking just on weekdays and then you totally slack on the weekends, you are just going to spin your wheels. And I don't think really you're going to make a lot of progress at all.
It actually goes by every minute. And so, for example, when you wake up in the morning, if you haven't eaten very much before bed, you could wake up and your body's in a deficit right now. Perhaps it's losing muscle. It's 8 in the morning. But then, because you're smart, you don't skip breakfast and you have some protein because that's your first opportunity for muscle protein synthesis to occur.
What is this?
Other people, no, I'm going to fast. I'm not building muscle right now. From 4 to 5:30, I'm in a bike race. I'm probably not building a lot of muscle. And then for the next 2 hours, it's hard for me. Today,
what in the Gen Z TikTok brain rot are we looking at right now? Greg, are you going side by side with Mario Kart clips? Come on, brother. Come on. It's all gone too far. And just, by the way, I like Greg. He's a good guy. He's put a lot of good information. But, geez, look, men used to go to war, okay? And now they need a side by side of Mario Kart clips to continue watching a video about how to get bigger in the gym. Blows my mind. True story. My two-year-old runs around the house saying, "What the Sigma?" My 2-year-old. What the Sigma? Okay. Eat your food. Make sure you're getting your sleep in. Do your cardio. Drink your water. Try hard in the gym. See you in the next one. Get out of here. Come here. Get out of here.